My name is Ruthman Ogbo. If you Google, you have a very wrong interpretation of Youthism. Google will tell you that Youthism is hatred of the youth. I think it's too ignominious. Rather, we should posit it. Youthism is youth-centeredness, the centralization of the youths in human affairs, in human development, the essence of the youths in the entire gamut of human affairs. That's what Youthism means. The repository of the strength of humanity is in the youth. The youth are special because they constitute the light, the flame, the fire, the zeal. All that it takes for society to grow is invested in the youth. The youth occupies what the youths call Youthism generational pyramid. There is a pyramid at the zenith of which reside or locate the youths. Before you get there, you see the babies. You can see the baby have so much, plenty of flesh, but not strong bone. It is at the youth level that you combine both the flesh and the bone in what we call balancism. As you grow old, you have more bone, but little of flesh. So it is only at the stage of the youth, between 18, that is very popular, and 35, up to 40, that you have a balanced human being totally. Everything alert. That is why, if you look at the emblem of the youth as regard to National Youth Council of Nigeria, which was established in 1964, you see a flame-like object. The same one you see on the hard cap of the youth copper. That shows you what the youth means. If you remember very well, during the Pentecost, it's like that tongue that came and perched on the Christian, then that is the youth. It gives you everything you need. Like I said, it's invested in the youth. The youth have what you call balancism, therefore, and also the ignition points of life, where everything seems to align for mankind to grow, can only define when yet you are the youth. That's why it is being said that youth is the time to learn. So if the youths are aware of this, the youth cannot resist, and there will be a development. When once you see anything not good, know that there's something wrong with the youths. So the youth has so much. He must have that confidence. The youth must have that character, that spirit of competitiveness, that care must be in him. Because if not, that capability, then he is not the youth. I think the role the Nigerian youth played in Nigerian nation building is very, very important. Unfortunately, our youth do not know. Unfortunately, it's not even taught in the schools as it's supposed to be. Many do not know that without the youth, Nigeria will not have been. If you go down memory lane, in 1934, there was the Lagos Youth Movement, which later became Nigerian Youth Movement in 1937. It is that youth made up of so many, it's not good to go mentioning them, but we will not forget somebody like N.S. Ikoli, Vagan himself, Akin Sanya, and so many others who came together and formed that body until Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and other people came later to join. It is those youths in those days who bridge the gap of education in Nigeria. Before then, you have Forabe in Sierra Leone, the only higher school. After that, in 1922, you have Achimota College in Gold Coast, now Ghana, and none in Nigeria, with all that population. In fact, research proved that of all the British colonies in Africa, Nigeria then was the least in terms of state-sponsored education. So it took the energy, the protest, the agitation, the militancy of the youth to turn the table. So that in 1932-34, we have Yoruba College. which led us to University College Ibadan in 1948. Thereafter, the world, or Africa in particular, could not see Nigerian back. Of course, you know what University College means. The one that brought people like Chino Achebe, Wole Soyinka, just to mention a few. These people dominated the world, and you rank them among the very best professors the world over. That is the Nigerian youth. Without the Nigerian youth, even that labor strike of 1945 would not have been possible. The Zikis movement, which was formed in 1946, made sure that the white man immediately turned his back and go to home, because this wasn't his home. He came and was oppressing us anyhow. If you check 1954, those who were premiers, talking about Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo, and Ahmadu Bello, you know that they were youths. But we don't know some of these things. We just think that now we look behind things and think that those people were already old. They were not. Most of them in their teens. And to the Nahoro, for instance, moved his motion at the age of 22. That was on 31st of March, 1953. He was quite young. Imagine. At the age of 23, and you were able to do that. Just imagine. They did so much. Even the establishment of the University of Nigeria and Soka in 1960, that was 7th, being Friday of October, was as a result of the movement of the youth. In fact, the Ibadan conference of January, between 9 and 12 of January, which I like to call the conference of correction, because that conference came and corrected what the British, the colonialists, in fact, the 13 British colonies, including America, I think Russia were with them also, who gathered in German city of Berlin, 1884 to 1885. They gathered there between November and February and dismantled the entire Africa. They split them into whatever they like. We call it the Berlin Conference, but I call it Berlin mistake. That Berlin mistake ensured that no African country is gigantic enough. Then you have Asia, you can count China and India. In South America, Brazil, North America, because you have America themselves. Canada, though empty, but it's very large. But come to Africa, no. So it was that Berlin Conference of 1950, precisely January, where Nigeria came together and became one. And so a giant was formed. Who did that? The Nigerian youths. So I think in Nigeria you could do like that. I call Nigeria the estate of the youths. The youth own Nigeria. So they should wake up. There is no point of them waiting for any human being, because those people didn't wait. Imagine if Macaulay in the 20s had waited for his grandfather, or Nnamdi Azikiwe in the 40s had waited for Macaulay, or Toronara and the rest in the 60s had waited for Nnamdi Azikiwe. The world will not move. So we don't need to wait for anybody again. I think the youth should take over. This is their time. Youth should know what youth means. If you know what is involved, what the youth has, that one alone, the youth must build what I call Youthism command, which will lead to Youthism demand. By Youthism demand, bring out everything. The youth should be aware that change is that which, without which the world cannot do. And the element of change is embedded in the youth. The youth should realize what we call change choice. In other words, which choice are you going to make in making a choice? I think it should be positive choice that we had during the pre-colonial era. If you ask me, the choice from 1966 was the youth's choice, but it wasn't a good choice. That's why we find ourselves like this. So we should make the proper choice. There is also change chance. The youth should know that there are time for everything. In fact, the truth is that President Buhari is the last of the last generation. He is always brought after a civilian interregnum, like it happened on 31st of December 1983, when he succeeded Shagari. This time around, he succeeded Jonathan. He is the last. So it is an opportunity. There is this natural circular of election. That one will elect and when will diselect all old people. So it has deselected them. They are not even strong enough. That is why Buhari will tell us the youth take over. So if the youth do not take over now, when do they think they will take over? I think this is a very big opportunity for them. And next year, for instance, we have to sign a note of warning. Next year will be exactly 100 years of Nigerian electoral system. The first election in the entire sub-region of Africa, or British colonial areas in sub-Saharan Africa, happened in Nigeria, and that was 1923. And so next year will be exactly 1 year. Why can't we celebrate it with democracy? And if democracy means majority rule, and it also means fire. The youth alone has the fire. The youth alone has the majority. Then why should they wait? I think it is time. If Nigeria failed, then the youth should blame themselves. Because in all history, it is very clear from research that more than 90% of all the great achievements in the world happened when the achievers were yet youths. Every other one was exceptional. Only very few people did anything tangible at their old age. So if the youth do not stand up, if the youth at mind, when we talk about the youth, we don't just mean youth by age, with youth at mind, progressive mind, the youth that should be thinking about unity and faith. And when they think about unity and faith, and then they leave it, what comes naturally is what? Peace and progress. When the youth are not united, the youth should fire the aged and the young ones, because they occupy the world, the pyramided generational pyramid. And then they should show the world the light. Because if you don't put the light like Christ said on the table, and you put it under the table, like Nigerian you will do, no. I think they should develop consciousness. Paramountly, if you ask me, the youth should know themselves. When they know themselves and act, therefore, nothing will stop them. Nigeria will become a great nation once more, and even greater than can be imagined. Thank you.